This is a vibe check. Today, we're going to talk about purpose and leadership. These self-check method questions are designed to help you get clear on what's going on and how you already show up as a leader, even if you don't see it yet. So, as I said last week, I am doing a series of self-check questions that will allow you to be able to kind of dig deep into yourself, figure out who you are as a person. Sometimes when we don't know who we are or don't know how to answer certain questions, it's because we have the knowledge and the skills and the options to be able to choose a better scenario for ourselves or for the way we think. So I came up with just, like random questions. I'm not going to say random, but just questions that will allow um, you to get a little bit more deeper to get to know you. So I do encourage you as you go over the questions. I'm going to read them today and kind of give a short breakdown of just like what question means and like what you should be looking for. I would just advise to come back at some point and look at the video again. Also and I'm doing that as well. I have my little notepad and stuff here. And to ask people about you, like interview them and ask them, what do they see in you as a person? Because we're too close to ourselves at times. And it may take someone from the outer surface to be able to, really tell you, okay, this is what I noticed about you. This is what I noticed about you that you don't do, or you do, and it may, take that to be able to get a better understanding of yourself. And I think that once I read these questions, I kind of strategically place them, in the order that I have them so that it gives you time to think, okay, I'm going to try this one first and this one makes sense. But then also, I'm going to double back on that because I'm a big choose your own adventure type person where, you can be able to start from question 5, question 3. So let's start. So I want you to grab your journal or notebook. I have mine. Grab something to drink, sit back and listen to what I have to say. And then, of course, you can jot information down. The beauty of being instant, you can just rewind it back and we take it from there. So let's jump right into it. Question 1. Why do people always come to you for help with? And what does that tell you about your gifts? So I want you to pay attention to this because people don't randomly come to you for things. If people are always asking you for advice or relationships, or they want you to help them organize something, or they trust you to give them the straight, that's not a coincidence. That's revealing something about what you naturally are good at. This is a question that's asking you to like look at like patterns of what people seek from you. Because that's often pointing directly at your purpose. Your gifts aren't just for you. They're meant to be, I guess, used. So, or given away. Like it gives into talent, something you're good at. So what's keeping you, what keeps showing up, I want to say, you know, and are you actually honoring that gift or are you downplaying it? So I want you to sit on that, especially the end part where I emphasize, are you actually honoring your gift or are you downplaying it? Question 2, if you knew you have 5 years left to live, and I'm reading with my pad, so this is the questions. If you knew you have 5 years left to live, what would you spend your time doing? I know that sounds heavy, but stay with me. When you put a timeline on your life, all that stuff doesn't, all that stuff that doesn't matter sometimes seems to fall off real quick. You're not thinking about impressing people or playing safe or waiting for the perfect moment. This question forcing you to get real about like what's actually matters to you. What would you create? Who would you help? What would you fight for? What could you build? That answer. That's your purpose. Try to keep telling yourself that. The question is, are you listening to it now or are you waiting until you don't have time left? Now, granted, we know we all here on a timetable and we all know that. So, but do we still take life as though we can be gone tomorrow? It's a question we all have to answer. Remember us at the end, and then we got again. The question is, are you listening to it now, or are you waiting until you don't have the time left? Okay. Question 3. Okay. What problem in the world would make you genuinely angry or sad, and what are you doing about it? Here's the thing. Your purpose is often connected to what breaks your heart or fires you up. Oh my goodness, I know. I'm like, yeah, that's so true. As I'm saying it, I'm like, that is so true. Maybe it's how people treat you or treat your kids. Maybe it's how women are talked to. Maybe how people stay stuck between nobody teaching them better. It can be injustice or waste or people not getting opportunities. Look at the world we're living in right now. Every day you have to make sure that you are carrying your ID and you are a citizen of your city or country you live in. What makes you feel something deep? Like they usually tied to what you are meant to address. And how do you address these things? Like, do you just let it just sit and fester, or do you actually get up and really like speak about it? This question is pushing you to connect your passion to your action. Look at that. Your passion to your action. And that is true. Because caring isn't always enough. You know, Leadership is actually doing something about what you care about. So if you're a person that knows there's injustice going on in your community, in your family, in your personal life, and I know we heard time and time again, it's just like leave it alone, don't go there, make a fuss about something, allow it to play out. And that's where we get stagnated and we find ourselves getting pushed further and further back from not doing something that we actually care about. Question 4. And I hope, this is resonate. Before I go to question 4, I hope that, you're taking the time to read through the question, listen to what I'm saying. Like I said, I'm only giving you just a little blueprint of what, the question means. And like I said, because sometimes when we are trying to figure out who we are as people or as a person, I wouldn't say as a person, it can get a little tricky, especially when you don't understand certain phrases or understand certain ways of communicating. So I wanted to put this as simple, and as fun and as like, oh yeah, that is me, to be able to, allow um some space and to be gentle with yourself. So question 4. When do you feel most alive and in your element? And how often are you actually in that space? That one sat with me. Yeah, that one. I'm gonna read again because this one really sat with me. When do you feel most alive and in your element? And how often are you actually in your space? Okay, most of us know when we're in our zone. Oh my God, time flies. When you're energized instead of drained, when you feel like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. What a feeling. Oh, what a feeling. That's your purpose showing up and you don't want to let it go. But here's the check if you only feel that 5% of the time something is off. This question is asking you to identify when you are most aligned with your purpose and to be honest about how much of your life you're actually spending there. Because if the answer is not much, then you're gonna have to make some shifts to make it enough. Hmm. Question 5. What would you do even if no one ever recognized, paid, or thanked you for? This is the ultimate purpose check. It's the ultimate check here. Like, because real purpose to me isn't about applause or validation or getting paid. And now, granted, listen here. You have to get paid. The world goes around money. That's how we're able to survive and eat. I don't ever want anyone to feel like, you do what you do and you shouldn't get compensated for it. But then there are times that especially if you're creative and you're a person that loves, music, dance, art, anything that gives you this zone out feeling that you don't it's so euphoric that it's like you do it for the love. Because there are times you may just do things and give it away because you love it and the look on people's faces. And that is what matters, because real purpose, like I said, isn't about applause or validation, you know, or getting credit. It's about what you, it's about what you'll do anyway because it matters to you, if that makes sense. What you would keep showing up for, even if nobody ever saw it. Mm. What you would build or teach or create or fight for just because it needs to exist. That's your true, did I say compass north? North? That's your truth. That's your truth. That's the thing it's not even about ego at all. It's not about, ego and like instant gratification. It's about what genuinely matters to you. So listen here. Those are the 5 self-check method questions that I'll have for purpose and leadership. Now, I know some of you might be sitting here and like, listen, like, look, Kenya, why do I need to ask myself all of this? And that's exactly why we're doing this, is because most of us go through our whole lives never stopping to actually check ourselves. We just keep moving, we keep doing the same things, wondering why we feel so unfulfilled or like something's missing. So I feel like I reading these questions myself and I'm sitting here like, wow, this resonated. And even when I was creating the questions, I did the same thing too. The self-check method questions, they're not just something to think about and forget about. You know, they're everyday tools. They're how you get to know who you are as a person. You know, they're how you figure out what you really are meant to be doing and whether you actually should be doing it. You know, and you need to ask yourself these questions, not once, but regularly. Because clarifying about your purpose doesn't happen by accident. You should be intentional about it. You should be here. You should have the willingness to look at yourself honestly and ask, what's really good? What's really going on here? Am I living up a purpose or I was going through the motions, you know? And like I said before, that's what self-check method is about. All about pausing, asking yourself the hard questions, and being real about your answers. So here's what I want you to do at least today. Just pick one of these questions and really sit with it this week. Journal it, talk to a close friend about it, and see what they say, and trust what they say. And do the actual work of checking on yourself. Um, so what I would love for you to do, drop a comment and let me know what question hits you the hardest. Which one you're gonna work through first? I'm reading all of them, trust me when I tell you. And I want to hear from you. And if this episode helped you, share it with somebody who needs to start checking themselves too. We're building a community here over here at the Empowerment Click, of people who are willing to do the work. And I'm just thankful to be able to provide this audio podcast or this virtual podcast today. Next week, I'll be coming back with 5 more self-check method questions on a different topic. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Remember, knowing yourself isn't selfish at all. It's necessary. It truly, truly is. And once you get to know who you are as a person and alleviate all of the naysay, the sky's the limit, babe. This is a vibe check.